Well, good evening, Jeff. The president has now had 3 health care town halls this week. There was one in New Hampshire earlier in the week, yesterday in Montana, and today here in Grand Junction, Colorado. And in all 3 cases, to the surprise of many, these audiences have been enormously supportive, repeated standing ovations. Some people thought this was when he was finally going to see all this anger about health care reform out there. But even though the tickets were publicly available for whatever reason, it was his supporters and almost only his supporters who chose to show up at these town halls. That gave him the opportunity to go on the offensive here against what he calls the scare tactics that his critics have been using recently. And he really did it today. He really upped the ante on the issue of death panels. He became as fired up as I've seen him yet. And he even invoked the memory of his grandmother.
I just lost my grandmother last year. I know what it's like to watch somebody you love who's aging deteriorate and have to struggle with that. So the notion that somehow I ran for public office or members of Congress are in this so that they can go around pulling the plug on grandma? I mean, when you start making arguments like that, that's simply dishonest.
The president said scare tactics on health care have been around since the 1930s, when he says FDR's plan for Social Security was called socialism, and again in the 60s when Medicare and Medicaid were called socialism. He says this is not socialism, and he's still confident. He said that this will be signed into law, a health care reform plan, by the end of the year. Jeff?
Chip Reid joining us this evening from Colorado. Chip, thank you.